Hey everyone, welcome back to Installation 00, and I just wanted to make a really rough and ready video just to cover some emergent news coming out for Season 2 that I thought worth giving a little light to. So it's literally just dropped that the team behind Halo Season 2 have said that it will be something of a reset and is far stronger than the previous chapter. This is some new articles that have just come out across numerous platforms. They're all sort of sourcing each other, but it all goes back to SFX magazine, which is where the original interview, so to speak, was performed between Pablo, Kiki Wolfkill, and SFX. Pablo was quoted saying, "It's darker, it's more dangerous, all of the stunt and action sequences put you into the battle and inside of the fighting. To me, it's a much more effective way to deal with the show. I think David Weiner, Halo's new showrunner, is just more of a gifted writer, to be quite frank. I think his dialogue is better, he puts words in the mouth that feel more appropriate for the character." Pablo goes on to say, "There's no question the second season is far stronger than the first," and he continues, "I will stake my reputation on that. It's absolutely improved. The art director who came on board, James Foster, is fantastic. He created a visual world that just makes a lot more sense. It's so beautiful, incredibly cinematic, and the dialogue is better. It's just a better season, period." In this same interview, Kiki Wolfkill, still being the executive producer of the Halo TV show, went on to say that, "I don't want to say that it was a soft reboot, but there was intent to reset the state of the world." And went on to say it was a goal to do a few things. One was really to start to shift tonally to a place that was a little more grounded and grittier, but still with the big spectacle of Halo and sci-fi. So this is showing extreme confidence from the team behind Season 2 for just how well Season 2 is going to land. And I think really we are already seeing this. The response that we're seeing across multiple social media platforms, and again, from my own personal experience, the response of the capacity crowd at the Thunder stage at CCXP in Sao Paulo to the teaser was phenomenal. It was much grittier, much more dramatic, hit those right tones, the grounded, gritty, aggressive kind of feel that we expect from Halo. It hit all of those beats, those story beats that you'd expect from something like Halo. And again, that trend seems to have continued as the advertising campaign for Season 2 has continued. The trailer has come out, the response to the trailer has been really good. There's been posting across different social media platforms for the Halo TV series social media pages, particularly on Instagram and on TikTok, showing a much grittier, more grounded way to kind of portray the story and tease the events that are to come. And even these subsequent trailers that we've had released thereafter have still hit those same tones, have revealed slightly more to us, but not too much. And it's still building this momentum, and the optimism and positivity that I'm seeing across social media for Season 2 is escalating quite considerably. This is all coming out amidst an elaboration from Pablo in regards to the decision to remove the helmet from Season 1, and that theme is going to continue over into Season 2. Now, he did originally speak about this back in 2022 when Season 1 dropped, but has since elaborated a little bit further and has gone on to say people who don't feel the helmet was necessary to come off, they're at such an early concept of what the show could be. And in order to examine the discrepancy between the two versions of the character, Chief and John 117, you can't tell that story without taking the helmet off. Now, in the grand scheme of things, just as I said in my previous video on Season 2, which I've put a link in the description down below, there should be one in the card at the top, and there will also be one at the very end of the video. Removing the helmet within the right context really shouldn't be that surprising. Chief has removed his helmet tons of times in the games. I covered this in the other video. Chief has removed his helmet tons of times in the books. I covered this in the previous video. Chief even went so far as to take his entire armor off during the events of Halo the Flood on Installation 04 so that he could have a shower, no less. I also acknowledge that it's not so, for some people, it's not so much the fact that the helmet is removed, but it's the face reveal that seems to bother people. Now, you have to bear in mind that his face has been shown before. It was shown in the prologue of Halo 4. It was shown in the legendary ending epilogue for Halo 4. It was shown in the scanned teaser trailers for Halo 4. It was described in Halo the Fall of Reach, the book, and was shown in Halo the Fall of Reach, the animated movie. The whole idea behind Chief being a faceless stoic and relatively voiceless character was actually more so for player immersion. It enabled the player to superimpose their own personality onto the Chief because he was relatively a blank slate, and I think that contributed to the popularity of Halo. The problem therein being that Chief over the time has become an iconic game character, and people struggle then to separate the game character to the actual character that exists within the armour, as has been explored and extrapolated in many of the books going all the way back to nearly the beginning of the franchise. Again, I referenced in the earlier video, again linked everywhere, in regards to reading through Halo the Flood, in that it retells the events of Halo CE, events that we've played as players of the game over and over and over again, and yet adds the context of Chief responding to Cortana within these contexts. That explores his character independent from our character being superimposed on him as a player. So the expectation of trying to maintain that same kind of modus operandi for allowing the player, or in the TV show's case, the viewer, to superimpose their personality onto this character that they actually don't physically interact with, like we would interact with a game and actually control the character and move them around. You don't do that with a TV series, you watch it. It's more passive, it's not an active engagement. So the expectation of maintaining the same parameters that allowed that interaction in that modus operandi over onto a completely different medium, it wouldn't work within that context. At least as far as I can tell. I'd be willing to be proved wrong, but I'm pretty sure it wouldn't work within that context. And this also comes just days after it was revealed that Pablo was against the romance and the sex scene between Chief and McKee from Season 1. I very rarely trust sources on many of these instances and like to dig as deep as I can to find where the source originally came from. Obviously, in these circumstances, I'm in a rather gifted position in that with my denial about the accuracy of some of these sources, I went to the source. I went to Pablo and asked him directly, can you confirm whether this was said? Is this being taken out of context? Is there something I'm missing? Because I wanted to know accurately the information before I wanted to actually pass any comment or judgment on it. And he confirmed he was against the romance and he was against the sex scene. He doesn't feel that the relationship between Chief and McKee should have been anywhere close to a romance. He definitely agrees it should have been magnetic. They should have been drawn to each other. They are supposed to both be reclaimers after all, so there should be that intrinsic, intangible connection and draw to each other. So it should be a magnetic attraction, so to speak. And it should be relatively intense, but it shouldn't have bridged that gap. It shouldn't have moved over to become a romantic relationship. And he voiced this in Season 1. Just giving his opinion was heard, but it wasn't taken. This, on top of all the other news that's coming out, on top of the way in which we're seeing the advertising and marketing campaign for Season 2, the teasers, the trailers, things we're seeing across social media, these little pieces of articles that are coming out in regards to extrapolating more information about what's been going on behind the scenes for both Season 1 and carrying over to the decisions that are being made for Season 2 with the new showrunners, the new writers, the new artists, Pablo now being, as I recall, an executive producer, Kiki still being on board as executive producer, Joseph Morgan coming on board as Colonel James Ackerson, whom himself is a gamer and has played Halo tons. All of these facts are driving in a very clear and concise direction, and that is that Season 2 is a significant departure from Season 1. All of this information seems to be pointing towards Season 2 being a significant departure. Something of, not quite, but something of a reset and soft reboot. It's very reassuring to see all of this information. It's very reassuring to see the response that's coming from the community at large. It's extremely optimistic versus what I was seeing a couple of years ago in regards to Season 1, and I've got a strong feeling, a strong optimism that we may just be on the cusp of Halo being forced back up into the forefront of pop culture for really the first time in over a decade, and we're all here right now ready to watch this happen. And if this happens, this paves the way for some awesome stuff in the future. This is a really quick, rough and ready video. Didn't really want to go too deep into things. I've got a 30-minute video that again is linked everywhere that I recommend you go watch because it extrapolates significantly more on some of the things that I've spoken about here today, as well as some rough hypothetical plot points and things like that, just based on some information that's come out in regards to the episode titles and some plot synopses that have been released. I recommend you go and watch that as well. But yeah, this is all looking extremely positive, and I'm pumped. Take it easy, everyone, and find peace in the domain.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider smashing the like button and leave a comment below on what you'd like me to cover next. Big shout out to my patrons, Spartan10148, the Metarch of my installation, Falcon, Prophet Bear, Mikhail, Sophia, and Ashley, my dutiful monitors, Darian, Scarab, Spartan0137, Anthony, Ghost, Aaron, Chris, Jacob, Sean, Element Zero, Somatic, Jordan J3, Dan, Mr. Keys, Directal, Gunslinger, Jacob, Bandmill, Echo, Evermore, Officer Cat, and Personal Devil, my diligent sub-monitors, my fleet of Strato Sentinels, and my loyal enforcers. And all the other patrons who have jumped aboard to support the channel. It means more to me than I can accurately put into words. Another shout out to my Tier 0 Transcendent YouTube members, Spartan137, Jacob, Schmitty, Talia, Fenrir and Born Stellar, and all the other YouTube members keeping my installation running on that glorious vacuum energy. Shout out to John for I don't fucking know. And if you want more of this kind of content, hit the subscribe button and the little bell icon so you don't miss any future videos, and consider jumping aboard yourself as a patron or YouTube member to keep the channel alive and kicking. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy, everyone, and find peace in the domain.